Hello my friend, it's Pat Sloan here with my daily video, and today we're going to kick it off with a chat about fall. I know there is a whole group of you that are fans of fall. This is your favorite season, and if you are a pumpkin spice person, that stuff has already started coming out. I saw it on the news. It's like Starbucks has put their pumpkin spice out early. It's like a treat, right? You only get certain things at certain times of the year. So I'm curious if you are a fall fanatic, if this is fall rolling up soon in a few weeks is your time of the year. Here in Virginia, at the end of August, we are nowhere near feeling like fall. It is sticky and hot and humid, and thunderstorms roll in and out. Like, I'm taping this and it's raining right now. It was sunny a few minutes ago and very humid. So fall is still probably a good 4 weeks, a month away. End of September we'll start to maybe feel a little briskness in the air, but I'm okay with that. I really am a summer person. So speaking of fall though, I want to know, like, what do you do? Do you change out your quilts? Do you change out your pillows? In my book, Quilt The Seasons, I wrote this book so that we would have projects to switch out, because that is my favorite thing to do. It's not a seasonal thing. I mean, it's not a holiday thing. It's a season. So it's broken into, the four seasons, but I want to show you. A perfect world, I would have found the quilts and brought them down, but I'm not in a perfect world right now. So instead, I will show you. And the country fair is the lap quilt in my book. You can see it up at the top. Whoops, there we go. I just love this quilt. It's got stars and it's warm and it's cozy. It would be fabulous in flannels. Wouldn't that be awesome? And I also did a table runner, the autumn stars, to go with it. So it's like a companion, because table runners really are a fantastic way to change out your decor very easily. And then my ultimate farmer stand, there we go. It's got the pumpkin. And if you like to applique, this is a super cute one that you can do, really quickly. It doesn't take a lot of time. And if you like this, but you want like a table runner, you could put on either side of it, you could extend that, or you could do 3 pumpkins and make it into a table runner, 3 sets. You could also just convert this into a pillow. Those are all things that make it really easy from this book, Celebrate the Seasons. Everything in there is pretty versatile. You can change up what you're doing with it. All right, it's Wednesday. So we are going on a picnic still. We still have some more blocks. And so this week our block is called Favorite Drinks. That is, you can't have a picnic without something to drink, right? It's like, I think that's the best, the great big cooler with all the ice in it, and you get to rummage around in there. Did your family do the picnics where there'd be like a whole bunch of different sodas or pop, depending, are you a pop or a soda person? I'm in the land of soda. I don't call anything you drink pop. It took me a long time to even know people did that. But anyways, back. Tell me in the comments, soda or pop. So the big coolers, could you root through and get that drink that you rarely had? Like in my growing up, one of the interesting drinks that I liked that I didn't have very often was a birch beer, which is not beer, it's soda. There was always beer in there too, but kids had birch beer, which is not like root beer. It's a very different taste. It's got more of a reddish color, and I just love birch beer. So like when I was doing this block and thinking about the names, I thought, oh, I need to dig around and go see if our grocery store has birch beer. I'm sure that there's birch beer over there. Greg actually bought root beer the other day. We don't drink much soda at all, but I tell you, during this pandemic, I think everybody is buying and drinking and eating things that they make them feel comfortable, make you feel cozy, like bring back nostalgia, eat, like, we bought Oreo cookies. Okay, so I'll tell you that too. All right, so where's the block? Here it is. I'm talking. That happens sometimes. So here's our block, and I think that it's super fun to do. It's got that pinwheel effect, and depending on how strong a contrast you do here, This one is a more blendy contrast. Remember my friend Anne made all my blocks, and she selected two that would be less high contrast. So let's take a look at some other fabric options, because if you wanted to really pop that visual of this in here, this sort of internal pinwheel a bit stronger, you could. But first of all, you could also pop the middle. So I'm just gonna show you, like, here we go. So if I was going to want to make a little bit stronger center on this, I could bring in that navy, which pulls in from here, and I could do that, basically the same fabrics, just do them in the navy version for the middle. And I thought, well, what if I wanted to get these higher contrast? One of the reasons why they are not as high contrast, you might think if you picked up this green, like right here, it's a very strong contrast. But what happens here? See, the peach goes into that peach flower. This peach blends into that peach flower. Same here, same here. And so what that does is visually it makes this green not quite as crisp as it does on an edge like this, you know, where you really, you know, don't see the peach part. Okay, so what if we did this instead? You could have, I didn't cut these, but there would be a way to do, like, put that navy in here, and then maybe for the squares you could do an aqua, or even just do the navy. You can see the navy, whoops, the navy would give it a higher contrast through there. But if you did the aqua, or even one of the other aquas, it would be even higher contrast. You see how that is? Very fun. And with those two options, with those two, I thought the peach would go good because it would pull the peach out of these little dots. So pull peach, which are these same fabrics, just in the peach colorway. So when you're using, if you have a collection that's from a, you know, like a bundle like this is, look at, you know, if you like sort of those particular prints together, but you want different colors, then pull the other colors and just see what happens. You know, try the auditioning. And then for those of you who love seeing Anne's back of her, whoops, I can't get that in closer. Okay, so back of her blocks. So everything here is all pressed super neatly. Everything is pressed to one side. So there you go. You can see how she handled that this week. Yes, I'm going to be sad when I have to show you, I may not show you the backs of my blocks. I don't press that neatly. You don't need to see the backs of my blocks. I think we will pass on that. It's like, okay. So I want to show you, talking about my scrappy quilt up there, but before we do that, before I talk about the scrappy quilt, where I am on that, is I thought I'd have I'll give you a thought for the week, okay? So snuggle in there, because this is something I started thinking about. A bit of it got sort of thinking about, well, because since I broke my wrist, and now since they're, you know, I'm recovering from that, I have to sit and like amuse myself for many hours of the day where I can't be doing anything. For a long time they did not work at all. I didn't even have access to this left hand at all. I mean, it was, you know, not usable. So you know, it makes you think. I mean, you just sit, you have a lot of time. So it's like, so I started thinking, what are some of the things that I have enjoyed doing over time that I am not doing anymore for whatever reason? Maybe life got busy and that particular thing took extra time, so it just sort of fell to the wayside, but I really enjoy doing it and I'm not doing it anymore. I thought about that a little bit for my business, and I thought about it for my personal things. And I think I've mentioned this before with the personal side of it. It's that I used to do a lot of hand applique and a lot of, you know, hand embroidery. And one of the things is when I do hand work, I do have to concentrate on what I'm doing, but I also lets my brain have an ability to sort of mull over and think about other things. It's, you know, you don't have to be so engaged every second when you're appliquing down something by hand or embroidering something you've already stitched. You know, cross stitch would be the same way. That's why I'm very interested in picking up and doing more of the cross stitch. So that's one thing that I haven't done. The other was a lot of gardening, because I was traveling too much. You know, we were gone so much that we couldn't do that. So it got me to thinking that I'm not the only one in the world that has things that I no longer do that I really enjoy. And so do that this week. Think about, start today, this is Wednesday. Think about something you want to bring back or try to bring back. See if you're not doing it anymore. Is there a reason? Maybe you used to read a lot. Maybe you read novels and it just became too busy, or you didn't find any that you liked and so you gave it up. Well, maybe you want to try bringing reading novels back, bringing baking back in. Maybe you were in a charity group somewhere. Maybe you did charity work and you got to a point where you couldn't, you had to drop something and that's what dropped, but you really enjoyed that service that you did for charity work. Is there a way to put that back into your life? Is there a way that you could be helping somewhere if that's what you miss? So think about that. Tell me. I'd love to hear. Maybe we'll have to write this down on my many notes to sort of touch base on it again in a little bit. I think that would be great. Yeah? Okay. Thumbs up on that. All right, let's take a look. So I am really happy with my progress on this. I'm hoping I finish by the 31st. The top, I'm going to turn around. The top is sewn. This side is sewn. So there's 2 blocks, two rows. So there's 2 rows. I have the piece on the far left sewn. It's just, I haven't attached it yet because Greg has to get on the ladder and take it down. And I just thought I would get more of the bottom part done and then I will go do that. So on the bottom part, on this right side, I have that strip sewn, and on the left side, I have 2. I just have 1 more. So it means I just have 1 more set there, and then the bottom. And then I can sew. So I sewed it in units. So for those of you who maybe don't work like that, this worked for me because of my lack of ability. You know, I couldn't hold a whole big section. So I'm sewing sort of the 2 rows, and then I'm sewing borders onto the 2 rows. And down below it'll be 3 rows, and then the borders onto the 3 rows. And then I'll take those 2 sections and put those together. So that's how I approach doing this one, which honestly I've never done it like that before, but this particular layout, the border, because it's pieced, it lets me do that. I don't have to do this long strip. I basically only end up with, a couple of, like the 4 across, that is a strip, and then eventually the one through the middle. So yeah, I think that worked out pretty good for me. All right, my friend, thank you for being here. I will see you online. I love you so much. Bye-bye.